Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasts.
Content warning ahead. This podcast contains very sensitive topics such as missing persons, unsolved cases, haunted houses, and paranormal activity. These type of topics can contain very upsetting, sensitive details and stories. Please listen responsibly. Welcome to Misty Mysteries, a podcast in the business of ghostly spooks and chilling crime. I'm your host, Keely, and this week I'm talking about the disappearance of Gina Clark. Before my research, I had never heard about Gina or seen anyone else cover her disappearance. I actually found her case through uncovered.com. I have been a member of the Uncovered community for a while now. Uncovered has been around since 2019. It's America's largest cold case database. This database has about 50,000 missing, murdered, and unidentified person cases, including the addition of 1,150 unidentified persons cases in their most recent partnership in April with the Doe Network, which is another amazing organization. Dana Pohl, the host of True Crime PI, who I have collabed with on my ethical true crime discussion, is actually their head of community. The Doe Network is completely volunteer-based with the mission to give unidentified people their names back and return them home to their families. The Doe Network has been around for my whole life, literally, because it's been working to assist in investigations since 1999. The Doe Network has helped solve 113 cases during its 23 years. As for Uncovered, it's an amazing resource for podcasts like mine, content creators, and anyone who wants to help bring those missing home, give the unidentified back their names, and bring justice for those still waiting. I like to think of it as a wiki page for cases, but as much as I could possibly go into, this episode isn't on these organizations. It's about Gina Clark. So let's jump into it. On December 1st, 1991, Gina Clark was seen for the last time in her Kansas City home. Any disappearance of anyone is frustrating, especially for their loved ones, but Gina's is especially frustrating because not much is known about her disappearance, but at the same time, that's all we as a public really know. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned that I hadn't heard much about Gina, and honestly, resources are scarce on her disappearance. I'm not sure if it's the family's wishes or because of when she went missing, but we don't know much about who Gina is. What we do know is what happened to Gina. In 1991, when Gina was only 21 years old, she was living with her mother in their Kansas City, Missouri home. On December 1st, 1991, at 8:30 p.m., Gina was at home with her mom, and we don't have the information on how she left the home or when, but around 11:15 that night, her mom received a call from Gina, but it was very quickly disconnected. This call was never able to be traced, but we know it was from an unknown payphone since it was a collect call. Gina's mother reported her missing to the police, and her disappearance was marked as possible foul play very early on. Now we know many adults who disappear or go missing, unless something leads the police to suspect foul play early on, they tend to lean more away from it, but for Gina they definitely had a reason to suspect foul play. On October 7th, 1991, only months before her disappearance, Gina was a witness to the murder of her boyfriend. We don't have a name of the boyfriend or the outcome of his murder case, but at the time of her disappearance, nobody had been convicted of this crime, and she was an eyewitness to the crime, which played a huge part into police's jump to foul play, especially with the disconnected call from an unknown location. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like police have any suspects in her disappearance or clues as to where she may be, or they may be keeping it close to the chest. Honestly, looking for any information outside of the basics in this case, even trying to find out more about her, was really difficult. One of the only possible clues or leads I found was actually brought into question by the Reddit forum for Gina.
We are Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck.
We're a couple of Canadian chicks who are fascinated by freaky shit, so join us as we fall down numerous rabbit holes.
So very many rabbit holes. Fortune telling.
Yeah.
And this is episode 68. What
Yeah, it
lurks
is.
in the woods?
We're doing some axe crimes, axe murders, people hacked up. Yeah.
But yeah, we are doing high kill counts.
Yeah, the most killerist serial killers around.
Ah, the killiest of the killy. We are doing abandoned places. We talk true crime, cryptids, haunted AF stuff, and much, much more.
There are definitely some movie tangents in there too, because we love our horror movie chat.
Yes, we do. So feel free to follow us on social media at Castles and Cryptids, and don't forget to keep it cryptic, eh?
Yeah.
So, about 1 year after Gina's disappearance, on January 27th, 1993, two girls were playing in Wayne Fitzgerald State Park when they found the head of a woman in a set of bushes near the road. The woman's head was and still is the only part of her body that was found. The woman was given the name Gina Doe since she had been found near Ina, Illinois. Gina Doe was suspected for a long time to possibly be Gina because it had a couple of matching features like brown hair, ear piercings, and a previously healed skull fracture. But they also had features that didn't match, like Gina Doe was placed around 30 years old, which is 9 years older than Gina. She was missing facial scars on her eyebrow that Gina had, and her hair was also not curly like Gina's. Gina Doe also had wry neck or torticollis syndrome, which is a muscle condition where the patient can't straighten their neck, often having their ears sitting on either the left or the right shoulder. For Gina Doe, this lean was towards the right side. Now, Gina does have sedum chorea, which is a disorder that can cause involuntary jerks or twitching. In Gina's picture used on her missing persons flyer, her neck is leaning towards the left side, which led the internet sleuths to believe she may have a wry neck. But this was never noted, and if she did, it was on the opposite side of Gina Doe. Ultimately, it's been determined that Gina Doe isn't Gina Clark. In February of 2021, an anthropologist named Amy Michael offered to take another look at Gina Doe's case. With the remains that she had available, she was able to create a DNA profile and sent it off to a forensic genealogy team. One of the three children of a 25-year-old woman named Susan Lund, who disappeared on December 24th, 1922, while walking to the grocery store, submitted a DNA sample to test against Gina Doe's DNA profile, which allowed Gina Doe, who we now know as Susan Lund, to get her name back and give her children a peace of mind that they weren't abandoned by their mother at such young ages. As for Gina, she is still missing with what feels like no answers. At the time of her disappearance, Gina was reported as being 5'3" and 105 pounds. She has brown curly hair, hazel eyes, scars on her abdomen and one on her eyebrow. Her ears were pierced, and she had previously healed fractures on her skull, arm, pelvis, and wrist. Gina also had her appendix and tonsils removed surgically. And as stated before, she does have a medical condition which causes her to have involuntary jerks. She was last seen wearing a red jacket that said National Concrete Construction and Pickles on the back, with black pants and tennis shoes. Today, Gina would be 53 years old, and she goes by the nicknames Pickles and Peaches. If you have any information on Gina, maybe you think you've seen her, maybe you know her, or maybe you've heard something from someone, please call the Kansas City Police at 816-234-5136 or email them at missingperson@kcpd.org. I honestly wish I had more to say about Gina or more to say about her disappearance, but For now, this is the end of Misty Mysteries this week. If you like the podcast, please don't forget to help me out by showing simple support like sharing the episode or leaving a kind review. And I will be back next week for more ghostly spooks and chilling crimes.